care who they put in there at tackle. Woo! They got to deal with it. There we go.
What's going on, sports fans? It's Josh Williams back again with another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. Thank you for watching the live on Instagram right now. Please make sure you hit that like, that share, and also continue to push it to your people. Thank you guys for watching the replay. I didn't say repeat this time. The replay on YouTube, on Spotify, on Zeo Radio, and I think even Jerome's got me somewhere out there as my phone continues to be on loud and not vibrate. But without further ado,
oh my gosh,
I got to bring on Dave. Dave, I'm sorry, I'm a mess today.
You are a mess.
It's bad.
I mean, you learned words, but you forgot to turn your phone volume off.
I'm late, running behind. Yeah, it's bad.
Amateur
bad.
hour.
It's
jeez.
Before we start, I got to ask you, okay, so as an adult, right? So as you get older, as I can tell I'm getting older because I get excited over like the dumbest stuff. Like little stuff gets me excited. Mm-hmm. And then also, you know, I'm light skinned, so like I get excited over like moisturizer. Dave, I ordered a new face wash that's been working out real well.
You like it?
And then
getting the results you need?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Working on your T-zones?
Starting to even out the skin tone again.
Okay.
And then some moisturizer I haven't had in probably about 6 months. I finally found it again.
Oh,
and yeah.
It's just been a desert out there on your face.
You know what I mean? We're getting sexy again for the summer. So exciting times. Well,
I mean,
what do you have?
That's your, I mean, as long as you feel that way. As long as you're confident, then everyone else will be confident in you.
What's something that you get stupidly excited about?
God, I can't even begin to think of how many dumb things, like when TV shows come back.
Bruh, Power just came back, and I am very excited. Definitely TV shows.
Like, oof. Got The Bear coming back this month. That's exciting.
The Bear?
You've never watched The Bear?
No.
You're missing out.
What's The Bear?
It's real tough to describe. It's on FX. It's a guy who takes over a family restaurant after his brother kills himself.
Oh,
really good.
Oh, that's
great show. Probably the best show actually going right now.
FX quietly has had some of the best shows. Like
It comes and goes.
Well, no. But like Nip Tuck. You know what I'm saying?
Nip Tuck was a tough one for me.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad wasn't them. That was AMC.
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't FX?
No.
FX has had the like the People versus OJ. They've had good miniseries.
Had
as well.
Sons of Anarchy, which Lord, that show went on too long.
Okay,
Oof.
okay, but it was really good in the beginning.
It was a very
really
interesting show at the beginning.
Okay.
It went way off the rails.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So if you're of a certain age, please make sure you put in the comments what's something stupid that you like that you start to say I'm getting old. Like I'm starting to, I can feel myself getting old because I'm getting excited over the most mundane things.
I get excited just with days where I don't have to go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah, I get excited to
It's a high level of excitement.
Get excited to do errands sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I got all this new stuff for the house.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Nah, my bigger one is just go nowhere, do nothing.
Go nowhere.
I'm inside and not going outside for several hours. It's tremendous.
I hate you so much. Let's take it around the world in sports. Up first, and this is actually one of the things that I do like so much about our show. And as we do continue to grow, I hope that we're able to keep doing these kinds of things. And that is talk about multiple sports. And I'm going to say this is ESPN versus sports fans. ESPN has made it to the point where, just like, you know, our show, and I've talked about it on air, how you guys don't care about tennis or don't care about golf or don't care about, you know, hockey now that the Stanley Cup Final is going on. But these are the times when we should talk about tennis. The French Open just stopped. So that's our next topic is the French Open.
It's true.
You know what I mean? The Stanley Cup Finals going on. Like, we shouldn't continue to rehash the same stupid stuff over and over again. And I feel like that's kind of what ESPN has really hammered down on, because it's like, oh, well, the numbers say this. And it's like, screw the numbers. You're the numbers.
Well, I think the tough part is if you're a large sports fan and you like a lot of sports and you like a lot of different stories and different things happening, you're interested in more things, it's tough to reconcile with the fact that, listen, we had the same problem with Brett Favre. Oh, they're going to talk about Brett Favre for a while.
Yeah.
And then Tim Tebow. Like, there's certain people where, and if you listen to any host, anytime they speak candidly about it, they hate it. But unfortunately, you are a numbers-driven and ratings-driven thing, which leads to more advertising money. So as much as it sucks, these people don't want to be doing this. They want to be doing anything but this. There's a lot of subjects I don't think any of these people want to talk about anymore.
Yeah.
But they have to. They're forced to.
Well, Dave, that's where we come in. That's where we're going to change things.
Fill things out.
Because we should not be having to care about LeBron versus Kendrick Perkins in the middle of the NBA Finals. Period.
Then nothing will make me care.
But
Nothing will make me care about anything Kendrick Perkins ever says.
That was a lead topic on First Take. Like, that's crazy.
Well, I think part of that problem, too, is one thing that I have done for myself, for my own sanity, I never watch First Take. I don't watch any of the talking
Heads.
at each other's shows.
Yeah.
I don't watch any of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a healthier way to go, but some people love it. Clearly, I'm in the minority with sports fans because those shows keep popping up more and more and more.
That's all the shows
just
they
arguing.
have. Yeah, that's all the shows they have.
And it's like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
But good on you, whoever of you, that this is your thing. All respect to you. I don't understand how you can listen to Stephen A. Smith that many hours a day. And I don't even think he's not anywhere close to the worst. I mean, listen to Skip Bayless for 5 minutes. I would rather, go hang myself.
This is where the suicide prevention button comes up underneath the screen.
Yeah, I don't really mean it, but the alternative isn't. It's pretty bad. Some of those guys are just like Kendrick Perkins. Come on, it's just dumb hot takes.
And hot takes are okay, but hot takes for hot take's sake.
And that's it.
That's the problem I have. Like, it's like, listen, if you have something to say and you're like, oh, and you can honestly stand on it, then that's just your opinion. That's your point of view. I have no problem with that. But when you just throw things out there just to be incendiary, it's like, why? I don't understand that.
It's not just the incendiary nature, but just the fact of I have this opinion and I'm right.
Yes.
Which is crazy. And I can't be challenged. Like Monica McNutt last week with Stephen A., where she just like, you could have been using this platform for 3 years. Was that insulting? No.
No. It was certain day. Facts are facts.
He's doing it at the time when it's popular to do it.
Yep.
So I don't he freaked out about it.
But and
then
that's
all the days of explaining how he put all these people on. It's like, that just made it so much worse.
Yeah, because I mean, truthfully, and she was 100% correct. Like, literally, you can't start saying, "Oh, I've been doing all this stuff" when you haven't. You know what I mean? Like, and then also when someone calls you on it, sometimes just have contrition and move on. But to like, oh yeah, I've done this, I've done that, and it's like, but you really haven't. It's one time out of 350 days.
It's the LeBron nature of anything. Nothing can happen that I didn't know about in advance, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you guys might not have heard this from me, but I knew that this guy was going to be great since he was in 5th grade.
The lies.
Yeah, he's been known to manufacture a story or two here or there.
Oh, it's that part is pathetic. Whenever I see those videos, I'm like, bro. Like, there's the most recent one where it was during warmups and he was singing. I can't remember what's his name? Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
One of the new diss tracks. And like, it was like, count how many times LeBron like stopped singing the words. And like, he was like, like, it was just funny because it was
surprised
like,
he didn't say he told Kendrick what to say in those tracks.
1,000%. 1,000%. Before we go too deep into LeBron hate, but we are going to talk briefly about the French Open. French Open 2024. Obviously, Rafael Nadal goes down in the first round, but thank God Novak Djokovic also followed suit and lost.
And is hurt. Quarters. He won't be at Wimbledon either.
Yeah. He tore his meniscus, which I'm never wishing injury on anybody, but that's a little bit more to say than people are giving it credit, because those things are tricky.
It would be a miracle to come back healthy by the U.S. Open.
Yeah, no, legitimately.
Really be playing by September
and back
at his level?
At fitness, at top fitness.
I find that hard to believe that's but who knows? I mean, he's at the very least he's one of the 3 best players ever.
And honestly, I can't remember. I don't think you and I were talking about this. It actually might add some fuel back to his fire, because with Nadal and then Federer kind of slowly fading away, beginning of this year, I want to say it was Serena Williams' ex-coach, Muratoglu, or I always forget how to pronounce his name.
I can't say it right, so I'm not going to butcher it.
Okay, I tried. I gave it an attempt. He was saying that some of the fire from Novak had dimmed down just because of, I finally feel like I've made it to the top.
You get it, because he's already got the record at a place where, I mean, we're going to be talking about Alcaraz, who is the next big player.
Yeah.
He's on 3 majors.
That's right. 3.
That's a long ways.
Now
that's 3 more than most people ever get.
Well, and to his for him, this is his 3rd, and he's won 3 now. He's won Wimbledon, he's won the U.S. Open, and now he's won the French. He's only missing the Australian Open, so he's almost 4 for 4 to the career Grand Slam. So that part of it does separate him a little bit.
Unlike when a certain player just used to stack up French Opens and not win anything else for a while there.
That's disrespectful. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear any Nadal slander out of you.
I love Rafa Nadal.
But did you know that he's been getting tattoos commemorating each major title he's been winning? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he's getting an Eiffel Tower on his right ankle now, with 2024 on it. I'm interested to see if he just keeps adding years to if it's the Statue of Liberty.
Different one every time. Go for it.
Different one every time?
Yeah, go for it.
God, he'll be ratted maybe by the end of his career.
Maybe. We have to hope. He is our only hope. He's the only thing on the horizon right now.
You think so?
Can you name someone else that you think is is going to be even at his level?
He's
still young.
We definitely need some American tennis players, and I think if we had some American
male tennis players.
Yes, but females that ascend, because a lot of the girls have been, they're good, but then they don't necessarily win. Sloane Stevens,
Coco doesn't finish it.
Yeah, well, Coco's still a baby. Coco's still 18. She's still not.
Yeah, but in women's tennis, I mean, we got jaded by Serena.
Yeah,
because usually by 25,
it's over
for most players. If you haven't won them by then, you ain't winning them.
Yeah.
So I mean, the great ones have, of course, surpassed that, but a lot of times it seems that they get those wins in early and then out to pasture early.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. Especially just these last 20 years, we've been treated to players having a duration of just continued excellence
across sports. I mean,
that's true.
The differences in training and taking care of yourself and technology have clearly given us a whole different world.
Yeah. Yep. Also, shout out to Iga Svitek winning her. I believe this is her shoot. I don't even remember, but she took down Coco
Pretty sure it's
Gauff.
her 5th major.
Yeah, she's on her way. She's starting to.
She's the clear number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think she kind of settled that, especially how easily she rolled through that tournament.
Yeah, she beat Coco in the semis. I know that the championship was against somebody that was lesser. It wasn't anybody else of note. So
I don't think it would have mattered the way she was playing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Congrats again to her. Switching gears over to the NFL briefly. Darren Waller officially retiring from the NFL after a bit of an eventful offseason, Dave. He got divorced from our Vegas Aces own Kelsey Plum.
Fumbled that. Good Lord.
Yeah, that was a bag to fumble.
That's a fumble.
And then also dropped the diss track to one Kelsey Plum, where he's got the video with a lookalike.
When he did that, by the way, he had to retire. Because there's no way he was walking into a locker room after that and coming back out the same.
What are your
That was shameful.
What are your thoughts on his career overall?
Well, he was a Raider, so I couldn't stand him. But he was a fantastic player. He had a great couple years. Then after that, he had lesser years.
Yeah.
He was definitely a Pro Bowler for a couple years. I mean, perfectly fine career, better than most tight ends have ever had.
Yeah, and got paid, got his money.
Got his money.
You can't be upset.
That's the most important part.
That is the most important part. One-time Pro Bowler. I actually didn't realize that he had started his career out as a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver for the Ravens.
Makes sense.
And then that was, I guess that's where his speed comes from. Then he moved on to the Raiders, was a wide receiver there for 1 year, and then became a tight end. And then that's when he had the back-to-back 1,000-yard years.
And don't diminish, overcoming in the personal issues that he had too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that, regardless of sports, not many people ever get to overcome.
Yep.
So
that's right.
He should be commended for that.
That's true.
Not commended for fumbling.
Yeah, the Kelsey Plum.
His clearly amazing wife.
Kelsey Plum's dope. She's really nice. I've met her a few times. She's a really sweet girl. So that was unfortunate. Unfortunate moment had by all. But when he got traded to the Giants, it was like, I don't know if the distance might.
Listen, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. Maybe they're different people back there. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know their lives.
Yeah. I can't say I've hung out with Kelsey a couple times. Like not in some like.
I'm just saying like.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to be married to her.
Yeah, that's true.
We seem to think she's great. Maybe she's not.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, she might be a bit of a nag.
I feel like she's probably pretty great though.
Yeah,
I feel like he might have messed that one up. I feel like this one's on him.
Keeping it in the NFL, Travis has the picture, but we're gonna talk about there might be a new leader in the uniform clubhouse.
Ooh, leader?
Ooh,
it's up there. It is
up there. The Minnesota Vikings unveiling their Winter Warrior uniform. This is absolutely dope. I love the white helmet. And then the white, they didn't go to a purple like Viking horn. They kept the horn white, gave it a little bit of outline. But really, really clean uniform. I think this is up there with the Bengals all white for me. I still think the Bengals gets it, but it's close.
I would put this over the Bengals one.
So.
There are some. That one is pretty good though. All this makes me think of is my favorite MC of all time. What's cooler than being cool? This is ice cold. I was impressed. I can't lie. It is in the upper echelon of uniforms.
Yeah, and that's in purple. Isn't always the easiest color to really make things happen with, but that's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. That helmet is vicious.
If only they played outside and wore these.
They might.
You think they'll wear these on the road?
They might. Okay. For the Bengals, and then also shoot for the Vikings. Like literally, when it gets to certain points of the year, this needs to be the road uniform. Like the I don't know why the Bengals are fighting sexiness. Like it's I've never seen anything.
Now here's the question: would they allow you to wear this uniform on the road if it was snowing? I don't think they can.
Ooh, they should.
I'm not sure that'd be allowed.
We don't exist out here. We are literally out here as a silhouette.
Well, hey, in college they used to let Boise State wear their blue on blue uniforms on blue turf.
On the blue turf, on the Smurf turf. That's true.
So hey, maybe anything could happen.
Anything's possible. Switching gears over to the MLB, we're gonna do a quick MLB rundown. Shout out to my man Evan that I know is watching. He's excited to hear me talk about his Yankees for a hot second. All the New Yorkers they're fans of the show. I know we actually do have a pretty solid New York contingent. Some are Mets fans. A lot of Yankee fans.
Too bad for them.
But yeah. The ones that are Mets fans, they keep that quiet. You don't hear about the Mets fans until like the Mets are doing well. Then it's like, oh yeah, I've been a Mets fan the whole time.
No, I know some Mets fans, but yeah, they are known to. Yeah, Todd's really the
He's the only one.
Consistent.
He's the only one.
He's there through the good and the bad.
That's true.
They have been known to kind of come out of the woodwork a little bit.
Oh well they but you know what though, because honestly, like when the comparison is the Yankees, who are almost always solid or good, and we literally go
they
into
better
the
be.
But I mean, like, shoot, they're both New York. They both should be good. The Mets aren't always good.
Well, part of your problem is there's a difference between paying to be great and having no plan and paying to be great and having a plan.
That's fair.
The money they threw around previously that was comical.
Yeah, the Mets have burned. They've been burning money like MC Hammer in the '90s. It's been rough. I had to think of an analogy for you. I had to think of an analogy for you that will get you to smile. But the Yankees are pacing the AL East. They're 46-21 behind Aaron Judge's major league leading 24 home runs. Also, Soto has 17 home runs, and then Giancarlo Stanton out here still keeping it together with 15.
Good job, Mike.
There it is. Baltimore actually close behind. I thought the Orioles were actually going to come back down to earth a little bit this season, but they're having a good year as well, 42-22.
When you're trash for that many years and then you keep all those players from a great farm system, eventually it pays off. But one thing I did want to say about the Yankees is I think everybody diminished how big of an addition Soto was going to be because it seems like he should be much older than he is. He's still so young.
Yeah.
Because he broke in there and was in the World Series at like 18 or 19?
Yeah, he's still a baby.
On the team that should be your favorite team, right, Josh?
Should be my favorite team?
Yeah, the Nationals.
Oh, don't do that. There you go.
Speaking of uniforms, those cherry blossom uniforms are pretty cold.
Yeah, those are nice. They're subtle. I don't know about the gray. I still don't like. I don't love the gray with it.
I like it a lot.
Like it's like a I don't know, a dark.
It's what sets it off from the Wizards one that doesn't quite make it.
No. That one is trash. That one's too much.
Shouldn't have been though.
Shouldn't.
If they'd have had the gray, I think it would have been a good look.
Honestly, those Wizards uniforms when they had the Washington Memorial on the side, those Adidas ones, those are still some of my favorite. The ones that were the original District ones with the Washington Monument on the side, those weren't
bad.
Still
I wasn't
good.
big on the Adidas ones. I guess maybe just being a Nike guy your whole life, you got biases.
No, but those were like the only Adidas jersey I like, and was like, oh, those are dope. And then Nike did it, and it was like
Adidas had some tough ones. Adidas had some tough looks.
The sleeves. That was a dark period.
I actually was okay with the sleeves.
You were okay with the sleeves?
I was okay with the sleeves.
It was a dark period. There was a dark period in the league for me. The Cleveland Guardians lead the AL Central at 42-22. They're continuing to play well as well. The Seattle Mariners are out in front, out in the West at 37-30.
That's called a division that someone has to win.
Yeah,
it's required.
Pretty much like my division as well. Moving over to the NL, the Phillies out in front in the NL East with a record of 45-20 behind.
They are looking tough.
They are behind third baseman Alec Boehm's 51 RBIs. The Brew Crew leads the dumpster fire that is the NL Central at 38-27.
But hey, the NL Central has some of the most exciting young players in the league. I mean, they may not end up there in their career, but there's a lot of bright futures there. Paul Skeens in the NL Central. That's all you need to know.
You love you some Paul Skeens.
Did you see what he said the other day?
No.
He had probably will be the quote of the season when he gave up his home run to Ohtani. Said, I took a gamble and I lost.
Oh, that's a good take. I'm gonna have to find it.
I love this kid already.
We might clip that one. That's a good clip. It's a good clip.
Took a gamble and I lost.
And the $1 billion boys that are the Los Angeles Dodgers lead the NL West with a record of 41-26 after taking their weekend series over the Yankees. But it is time to unleash the Death Star. Death Star Dave, talking about the Olympics. What you got, Dave?
Well, before I start ranting, let's first off go over the fact that we are going to be blessed, not just on the men's side, but the women's side, with an Avengers-level team going to the Olympics in Paris. But there's one problem, and we've all heard about it. Why no Caitlin Clark? Where's Caitlin Clark at? She's the biggest star in the league. What are you going to do about viewership? You think they need help getting you to watch women's sports in the Olympics? Simone Biles in the Olympics. Katie Ledecky's in the Olympics. There's a lot of great female athletes. The Olympics have put on female athletes forever. What are you going to do? Are you guys going to go travel over? All you people from Iowa, you going over to Paris? Is that happening? Listen, in 4 years, when she'll be good enough, she'll be on the one that's in L.A., and then you can all go there and watch her redemption tour. She's not good enough right now. So here's my biggest point. Okay, so you say, well, biggest star in the league, biggest draw. It has to be on the team. Cool. I'm going to read you some names, Josh Williams. Who is she replacing on this team? Nafisha Collier.
No.
That's a no. Kalia Copper?
No.
Absolutely not. Brittany Griner?
Nah.
Brittany Griner at 6'8", Brittany Griner?
Not at that position, no, obviously not.
Yeah. Chelsea Gray? You could say there's an argument. So Chelsea Gray gets replaced because she hasn't been played. She's been hurt all season. Guess what? Arike Ogunbale isn't on this team either. And she's better than Caitlin Clark. I can name a number of other players that are still better than Caitlin Clark right now. So we keep going. Sabrina Ionescu? Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Diana Taurasi, you better watch your mouth on the GOAT. Alyssa Thomas? Trying to be the MVP this year. She ain't going to get it. Because the next player is Asia Wilson. You replacing Asia?
Obviously not.
You replacing the reigning MVP Breanna Stewart?
No, Stewie's
No,
safe.
I didn't think so. Jackie Young, I saw them play. I saw what happened when they played. That's a definite no. Jewel Lloyd, you replacing her?
No.
And she might have passed Kelsey Plum on the all-time college scoring list, but she sure as hell hasn't passed her in the WNBA.
Yep.
So that is the 12 players on this team, or as Monica McNutt called them, aces and friends.
That's too good.
I mean, there are 4 aces on there.
When you said the aces and friends, I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Had to credit her for this.
That's
for all
good.
you dummies, let things develop at the time they're supposed to develop. I just talked to somebody earlier today. They're like, well, you have to get the eyeballs. Like, it's the Olympics. It's getting eyeballs anyway. And by the way, the smartest thing they did about this was not putting her on the team, because we'd have hit her, all you dummies sit there the whole time like, why is she not getting any minutes? Should she be out there on the court? Don't they want to grow the game? The game is growing just fine. Yes, she is helping it by leaps and bounds and getting more eyeballs on it. But let's stop, people. Let her be a rookie. By the way, unfortunately, partially because she was playing for a title, she wasn't available for all the practices and camps and all that. So it was highly unlikely she was making this team. So calm down, people. There's an Olympics every 4 years.
She'll make plenty of others.
I think she'll be just fine. I feel like, missing out on this is probably something that might hype her up a little bit. Let it be some fire for her for the future, because she ain't ready right now. What you want? All you people are going to sit there chanting, "We want Caitlin," like for whole games. She's not good enough to be out there.
Yeah, I love it. This is another Death Star day.
Anyway, God bless it to this U.S. team, though. The U.S. is playing no games in basketball this Olympics.
No. The men. Listen. The men, it's always interesting because I will say it's very interesting just because of the nature of today's game. Simply because so many people are so ball dominant that taking them off ball is like, how do they move and how do they play alongside these other people?
You say that, but at the same case, some of these players are guys that are just fine being off the ball.
Yes,
on this year's team.
No, that's true. But I mean, like when you think back to like the dream team, whether it's David Robinson or Larry Bird or all these other guys, this is why when I talk about basketball IQ and basketball, they actually ran sets. So people were used to passing, moving without the ball, setting a backside screen, doing all these other things. When you start to say, okay, well, we don't play that way, and then now you have 7 people on the team where it's like, I got the ball for 30 seconds every possession. Like, I know it's 24. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. Like, so when you throw them all into a soup, we can't all be meat in the soup. Somebody's got to be carrots. Somebody got to be something else. You know what I mean? It's just different. So that's sometimes one of the things.
True,
I think
but they do have enough of those guys on the team too.
Yeah.
You have your Drew Holidays out there.
Yes, who's happy being a good complementary piece.
Kevin Durant is perfect in these roles.
Kevin Durant we've seen him in a secondary role or without the ball in his hands.
Steph can do it too.
Steph 1,000%.
There's
1,000%.
There's a lot to like on this year's team.
Shooting though, they've got shooting, and that's always been the bugaboo from the last, I'd say, because we've had a lot of streaky shooters, but not like knock down, give him the ball, that's a bucket.
Yeah, no, we haven't had like the dead eye.
Yeah,
we had to when they played it in 21. We had to rely on Chris Middleton getting hot,
Jesus Christ. Like, just say that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, that ain't the guy.
That's not a problem this year.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's true. That's very true. Keeping it in basketball, switching it over to the NBA Finals. And, of course, our NBA segment today is brought to you by our friends at Coco Love, the beverage of choice of the American Fan 365. Head over to www.cocolovewater.com for your own case of coconut refreshment and use the code TAF365 for your discount on Hawaiian Beach vibes. Let's talk briefly about each game, Dave. Let's do a quick recap. Just the Celtics are up 2-0 right now on the Mavs. Do you think, Dave, that the Mavs can come back in this series?
From what I've seen so far, no.
Yes.
I don't. I believe in Luka so much, and these losses are certainly not his fault.
Even though he tried to take responsibility, and it's like, you don't got to take responsibility for nothing with a triple-double and 30-some points.
Yeah, no, the number 11 has had a little bit of a tougher series than he has.
And to our points last week, that's who we said was the X factor. Because I think Stevie Wonder can see that the Celtics.
Stevie Wonder can see.
Yes, he can. That the Celtics have the deeper team. The Celtics have bodies to throw out there, whereas the Mavericks, they really, once you get past Kyrie and Luka, the scoring output isn't as consistent. So their stars have to be their stars. They can't rely on, like, if you're relying on PJ Washington to get you 25 to 30 points a game, good luck. Like, he wasn't doing that out here in Finley Prep. That's not who he is.
It's funny that you say this, because that makes me think of something. For all the fans of, say, myself, a Thunder fan, or Clippers fans, or Wolves fans, wow, it's real funny that you guys picked this time to go back to being who you actually are. Like PJ Washington, who all of a sudden thought he was Klay Thompson in the Thunder series. Derrick Jones Jr. was hitting threes. Like, these guys have gone back to being who we've seen them be their entire careers. Perfectly fine supporting players, but there's nothing. I have some crazy numbers for you. You know, they've only had the way that Boston is locking down on defense is impressive.
Yeah.
First things first, there's only so much you can do with Luka, but they're playing Luka to make him have to score, which he's going to score anyway.
Yeah.
But all the passing lanes
are gone.
It's wild. Do you know how many corner threes they've hit through 2 games?
Who's this? The
Dallas Mavericks.
The Dallas Mavericks, okay.
2.
Not good.
They have hit 2 corner threes. Yesterday, 3-point shooting percentage. So you got the game from Boston you needed to get.
Yes.
Boston shot 25.6% from 3.
Yeah.
Dallas shot less and hit 23.1%.
Can't do it.
This is the problem. This is where all those people swarming everybody is happening. This is where having a bunch of competent defenders everywhere and just the rim protection of Porzingis, this is where it helps. This is where the extra days of Al Horford getting rest come into play.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Al Horford's definitely retiring. He is leaving. The way he's running around, he's leaving it out there.
He's leaving it
every
all out.
possession.
Yeah.
Every game.
So my thing from, especially from game 2, to your point, the Mavericks have had to work for every bucket. Every bucket that they get, they are working.
Yes.
They aren't getting any easy ones. They're not getting, backdoor looks and
Kyrie
wide
especially.
open.
Kyrie, some of the shots he has actually hit, because he had a bad game yesterday.
Yeah, he had a horrible game 1.
Yeah,
butt naked threes. We rotate the ball. Kyrie wide open, and you can. I was telling. Shout out to Rico, my barber. Rico gets some writing credits for this episode, but I was telling Rico, honestly, you can tell when someone's not shooting confidently, and even when you're wide open, when you get that hesitant follow through where it's not just purely just let it go. He's looking like that, and it's like, bro, go to the basket. But he was going to the basket game 1 and getting his stuff sent.
Well, that's part of your thing. 1, of having Porzingis back, but 2, you could see the look on the face of everybody going through being covered by Drew Holiday all the time. After a while, you even saw it on Luka's face a little bit, where nobody usually phases Luka by their defense that much. And of course, Drew has given up a lot of size.
Yeah.
But you have to work through Drew to move him to different points, even when you're Luka Doncic, who moves everybody
effortlessly.
Yeah, but Drew is gonna make you work for every point. I saw the first shot. I think it was the first shot Kyrie hit in Game 1. Mm-hmm. There were 2 Boston defenders, and he got the ball knocked out of his hands, recaught it, and still hit a shot. But the way he had to fade, the arc it had to take, it was an insanely difficult shot. It's like, these are the shots he's going to have this series. And you're going to have these other guys open for threes. Mm-hmm. And now that you have Porzingis back there, seemingly pretty healthy.
Yeah, healthy
those
enough.
Guys, where are the lobs?
Yeah.
They're not there. That's hugely problematic for them because Luka is one of the best lob passers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I think that
that's coming from somebody that loves Gary Payton.
Correct.
Yeah.
He'd say he was the best.
Yeah.
He was one of.
He's up there.
Yeah. But seriously, everything that they do well, because now you had brought this up with the Minnesota series earlier, is like, how are you getting to X number of points? Because now you're at the point where they're playing pretty good D on Boston overall. I mean, Boston surged out at the beginning of Game 1, but since then, they've generally covered them pretty well. But you have to look at it like this. You can't expect to hold Boston under 100. There's too many players, and they shoot too many threes.
Yeah, it's too much.
So how are you getting over 100? Because now that, like, once again, P.J. Washington, Derek Jones Jr., turn back into themselves. If Gafford and Lively aren't catching lobs, what are they
their
bringing
purpose?
to you?
Yeah, what is their purpose?
Cleaver clearly isn't okay. I mean, his shoulder's clearly not right. So his shooting, that's gone. So who is filling in the rest of these points?
It's got to be Kyrie. It has to be.
It has to be Kyrie, and I think you have to look at it. I think for them to win games in this series, the two of them have to combine for at least 60.
Yes.
And I don't know, against this lineup of defenders, I don't know if Kyrie's going to get there.
Yeah. Because, and to your point, think about it. If they're able to, if Luka's out there getting 35, which he's well within
Luka's going to get his points regardless.
Yeah, and he has, which is well within his right. And then Kyrie can go get you 25 to 30, and they're efficient. You know what I mean? And he's not going to sleep for stretches because he came out very well yesterday. Yesterday he had I think he had like 11 first quarter and a half points, and then he went to sleep until like almost the end of the third, beginning of the fourth. Like, that's too long of a stretch where you aren't having field goals and you aren't making an impact in the game.
And just seeing it, because Boston has enough defenders that, like I said, to force Luka to be a scorer instead of a setup man first.
Yeah.
Because where you usually have the problems is everybody they play and Luka gets those passes, and then once all his other guys get hot, then he just torches one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
Now they have stout enough defenders that, yes, he's still going to score, but he's getting in those points, and you're seeing he's having to put up shots where he's like, I didn't want to shoot this.
There's nobody
I wanted
else
to pass this.
Yeah, there's nobody
but
else.
There's nowhere for it to go.
There's
like
nobody else.
As I said with that stat before, they killed the corner three for them, which is it's tough, especially for people between him and Kyrie both, people that penetrate. That quarter three is one of your biggest weapons because when you get down there, suck that defense in, you need to have the person there. But if they're able to hold them to the point where we are only committing one defender to you, no matter how good you are and how many points you give us.
Yeah.
And that's the point. It's Drew Holiday and Derek White. They're just they're fantastic defenders.
Derek White, he's shown a lot this postseason run. I'm not gonna lie, he has shown a lot.
You know what I think the key is with him?
What's that?
He cut that hair off.
Yeah, but he somehow looks worse.
No, incorrect.
He looked horrible before, but like he got a weird shaped head.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter. His hair didn't start till like here.
I know. He had the George Jefferson. It wasn't a good look. He's just, I guess,
his hair was moving on up to the back of his head.
Damn it, that's another clip.
Amen.
I hate you so much. But man, switching over to, I know you had some Jason Tatum thoughts, and this is actually an ESPN topic. ESPN was asking who's better. I couldn't remember if it was who's better or whose team is it, Tatum or Brown. And first off, I have to say that I hate this argument. This argument it's how narratives really are started and how teams break up eventually.
But to be fair, Jason Kidd was real smart for that one.
Jason Kidd.
Because Jason Kidd's the one that put that out there. Because when he came out in the interview, it said, "Well, Jaylen Brown's their best player."
Oh,
so that's what makes them answer all that stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
No, Jason. You got to give Jason Kidd credit on that one. That was some sneaky work.
That's actually well played.
Actually, not even that sneaky. It was pretty outright of what he was doing there.
Well, that's well played, Jason Kidd. But basically, what Jason Kidd has done, and as him being a light skinned gentleman as well as myself, he's created another battle of the light skins versus the dark skins. Now, I'll have to I'll give Dave a second on this before he could jump in because I know he can't.
Yeah,
really
there's some part of this I can't weigh on.
There's certain aspects of this he's got to sit out. But listen, and I said this to, I was saying this earlier at the barbershop. Listen, Jason Tatum plays like a light-skinned nigga. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's aggressive at times. He falls back. He's a little too cool. His game is all finesse. Like, really, and I can bring you in on this part, Dave. Like, who was the last light-skinned black guy that you saw in the league that was like a thug and was going to the basket and just dunking on people all the time, doing those kind of things? Think on it.
All the time?
Yep.
I mean, a good portion of the time, I guess you could say it's recent, but you could say Devin Booker
was dunking on people.
No, to go dunk on people.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Jason Tatum's 6'9", 6'10".
John Starks.
And John Starks had to go through some things in his life. He was in the CBA, so that dog came out of a different place. But I say all that to say, like, Jaylen Brown, he's an aggressive player. He's I will say that I haven't seen him shrink in the moment as much as I have with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, it is Jason Tatum's team, in theory, and also just by, the sheer numbers of how things look. But Jaylen Brown is also now their highest paid player. And for them to pay Jason Tatum, they're going to have to pay him even more than Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. That's going to be $600+ million, $700 million between two players.
Yep.
It was just interesting to see how ESPN spun it to, make this some kind of new narrative. But I didn't know at the time that Jason Kidd is who.
But they did exactly what they wanted him to do. They ran with it. Mm-hmm. Everybody ran with it. And that's part of my thing with. There are very few players I have been more confused by in my lifetime of watching basketball and loving this game than Jason Tatum.
Mm.
Because if you ask for a package of what you want, he's got all of it.
Yes.
He can literally do everything.
Yes.
He's tall, he's athletic, he's fast, he's quick. Now, his shooting leaves something to be desired, but the reason for that is the man always makes shots harder.
Mm.
He loves to fade away. He loves to take a step back.
I've Kobe Leaner.
But he takes step backs on nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a bunch of times where it's like there's nobody there and he still takes a step back. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And we're not talking about to get behind the 3-point line. I'm talking about in any position on the floor.
Yeah.
He always has a fade on his shot. It's like, dude, you're almost 6'10".
Just shoot.
They're not getting it.
Yeah.
You're athletic enough. And you see these times, like, yeah, we can criticize Jaylen Brown's handle all we want.
Mm.
But at the end of the game, he certainly seems to want it more and more occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always kind of the thing to me. It's like he's your best player. He's at the very least, your most talented player.
Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm. And in some ways, he's their most important player because I think what a lot of people miss is the reason that Jaylen Brown gets to do some of the things Jaylen Brown gets to do is because he doesn't get the person that's defending Jason Tatum on him.
That's right.
And so everybody can say what they want, and you can take those shots, which is a smart shot, but I don't think people are gearing up their defenses to key on Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum. I just don't. I've never seen evidence of that really in games that I've watched, unless it's a game or so here or there where he gets hot.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you could say that about anybody. Any player gets hot, you have to start changing the game plan.
That's right.
But I just don't. I don't understand Jason Tatum. I don't get it because it's one of those things I keep hearing all the time, especially since he's first team All NBA. Mm-hmm. People say he's a top 5 player in the league. Do you think he's a top 5 player in the league?
I think his ceiling.
I think he should be.
I think his ceiling
well,
is.
His ceiling is.
Yeah, I mean,
as it gets.
yeah, his ceiling is MVP, and she's shown that. But then he has those stretches where it's like he's not the MVP, or you look at there's certain games where it's just like he's just not with it today, and I don't see that in a lot of other players.
That's why I can't see him in the top 5. Now, for a perfect example, one of my favorites, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Mm-hmm. Every night, you know what you're getting. The other team knows what they're getting.
Yeah.
They're getting an efficient 31 with steals and all kinds of other good aspects to the game.
35 is the cutoff.
Yeah, well, unselfish player.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But you see, he's averaging that, and he's maxing out around there too.
That's right.
But that's because he's not trying to get more.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, I would definitely take him over Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I would do that without hesitation. I don't even think that's a homer pick. I would take Luka over Jason Tatum without thinking about it. I'd take Jokic or Embiid, even discounting injuries.
Little different just because of the position, but those other two withstanding, completely agree. I'd take both of them over Jason Tatum.
And you start looking around the league, and sometimes it's situational, and sometimes it's this or that. You take Giannis over him, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other players,
and that's giving up a ton of skill. But what you're not giving up is so much more effort and so much more want to win.
And he's had 50-point playoff games in Game 7. He's done real things, but I don't know why I can't figure out what he's going to give you. And if you look at yesterday's game, he had assists. Mm-hmm. I mean, that he did have. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people figured that's where it was going to go because they have keyed that defense on him pretty well.
Yeah.
And he's not a good three-point shooter. Takes a lot of them.
He does take a.
But that's some of that comes into their offense. They'll shoot 46 threes a game. Yep.
It's the light skin in him, Dave. It's all right. It is what it is.
These are things I can't say.
I understand. So before we get off NBA Finals, do you have the Mavericks winning Game 3? It's this one or that's it?
I'm gonna guess. My only question is how compromised really is Luka. It's gonna be all out in Game 3 because I don't think there's enough in this series. If they come out and get demoralized in Game 3, I don't think we're getting the gentleman's sweep. Think we're getting a good old fashioned
shut it down.
4 games and that's it. Now your real question is if Luka's really hurt, that's when we start questioning where. And yes, you could put an asterisk on every champion that there has ever been. But if Luka misses a game,
that's it.
Is this the worst? Is this the worst run of opponents that anyone's ever seen?
It would definitely be up there for sure. Man, yeah, I've got. I'll say they're gonna win. I have the Mavericks winning Game 3. It does suck because this is the Mavericks' shot. Being down 0-2 isn't the end of the world, but at the same time, you have to do something with it. And, short of a D-Wade flash moment coming from Kyrie Irving that we just don't see, I don't think that they get this done, but they have to win Game 3.
But he's mentally tough enough that I feel like between the two of them, they're mentally tough enough. They have to take the next game. Listen, they take the next game, it's a whole different series.
Yeah. All it needs is one.
It's not like yesterday they got dominated.
No, and they were winning. They were winning a good chunk of that game.
But your tough part with how they were winning, I remember it was early in the game, and Luka thought it looked like he was on the road to 50, and they were clicking, and it's like, why are they up like 7 points?
Those are the worst games,
especially against a 3-point shooting team that's shooting poorly. Mm-hmm. That's why I worry about any game of this series. Both of these teams shoot a ton of threes, so you're going to get crazy swings.
Yeah,
every game, everybody's going to get runs. It's just how you manage the runs
when the run happens.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I so far I've been wrong about because I never really believed in Missoula for some reason. I can't really explain it. I haven't liked his timeout strategies. I haven't liked some of the things they do, but he certainly seems to have had them well prepared for this series.
Good old crazy Joe Mazzulla. Switching over to finishing out with the NBA. Thank God Dan Hurley did the right thing. He did not become another victim of the Lakers massacre. He did not become another victim of Le GM. He decided today to not take the Lakers job. And how much money was it, Dave? You said $60 million?
6 years, $70 million.
Holy smokes. So he did turn down a lot of cheddar in the process, but
Which
it was
coming from the buses?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
It was the right call though. I was saying, look, listen, I would have only said for him to take this job under two circumstances. One, LeBron James is no longer going to be on that team, and they're not going to draft Bronny James either. And then also, still, don't take it and wait 3 years when they actually start having the draft picks again. Like, it's not the job to take, especially when you're at a perfect situation in college, can really make a Hall of Fame trajectory name for yourself anyway. You're on the precipice of doing something that's never been done. Well, wait, no, correction. John Wooden.
Yeah, it's been done.
Thank you. You were about to jump on me. Maybe also Rupp too, maybe. But never in modern history, never since the tournament's been 60 plus teams.
No. That's
never happened. So, so for him to be able to do something like that, it's far greater than going to LA in my opinion.
I understood the hire if they were actually looking at a post LeBron world.
Yeah.
Because as much as I've heard LeBron, God, the way he drops all these things and all this stuff it's so weird. Everything. Don't let everything be so calculated. We all know you're smart. You don't have to show it every 2 seconds. But Dan Hurley runs a real system with plays.
Yep.
And a lot of movement from a lot of different guys. I've seen some of the sets I've seen him run are beautiful.
Yes.
Just crazy sets. There is no way from 20 plus years of watching this man in the NBA do I believe that he would ever actually go along with that.
Yep.
Just like all their things like, well, don't think about when I'm here. You have to think about the next 10 years for the organization. What I know he said that. What in his history ever tells us that that's really what he wants?
Yeah.
And also, I think if you're bringing him in with that much money, that includes power with money in years, because they can't just
you can't eat that one.
Can't just eat that one.
Yeah, and that's probably why he was taking it literally serious, because they can't just eat 20, 30, 40 mil. That's a lot of money to eat.
Well, you have to remember with money with them, like their money all comes from basketball, and it's not like they're poor by any stretch of the imagination. They're just not rich like these other people.
Yeah.
So when you put that money in escrow, it means you have to have that money. They don't always have that money floating around.
Yeah.
So when you're paying multiple coaches,
D-Ham.
Yeah, you're paying Darvin Ham and you're paying Hurley this much money.
And maybe even a little bit of Frank Vogel possibly.
I think Vogel's is finally done.
It might finally be over.
Because that's the only reason where I thought, this could be possible, because the Vogel's money must be gone off the books.
Okay.
So I mean, it seems like we all got thrown off the scent of what was going to happen the whole time, which is JJ Redick's going to be the coach of the Lakers.
So
I was clearly thrown off the scent, because I was like, if you're really not thinking with LeBron in mind, it's at least a shot at a hell of a hire. We never know when college coaches go into the pros. It's certainly not a guarantee to work.
But I will say, to your point before, you've got it. Like Dan Hurley, he comes from a basketball family. We've talked about it on the show before. He would need not only the power, but he would need the say so. And when you start to have a LeBron situation, it's exactly the same situation that Luke Walton was in. It's the same situation that David Blatt was in, where it's like, I run my stuff and I want to run this house a certain way. And then LeBron's here and it's like, well, can't run it that way. And, you know, for someone that's so headstrong like a Dan Hurley to have to shrink in that situation constantly and placate to another person all the time, I don't know if he'd like that.
I think if you think he would placate, because you have to remember with the number of years they're giving him, LeBron is a marvel. He ain't playing that long.
He ain't playing that anymore. Yeah.
No.
That's
so
fair.
If you were signing him to 6 years, and with that Lakers organization, you're paying him that money, and you're going to be doing it for 6 years.
Yeah.
That means that you are going to, that for the first time in his history, in the history of his career, if it comes to a disagreement between him and the coach, they would finally have to side with the coach.
Yeah.
You would think, at least, because it's a lot of money to eat.
That is.
I mean, at some point, he has to stop playing. There's no way there's 6 more left in him. Yeah. And like I said, this all much more so. And for all we've talked about, and everyone in the world has talked ad nauseum about the Bronny James situation and him getting drafted. If it's a 55th pick in the second round and it makes LeBron James happy, what are your chances of a 55th pick in the second round making the team anyway? Just do it.
Oh, he's making that team.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He's making the team. But
he's on that roster.
If that makes one of the best players that ever walked the earth happy, it doesn't make it right. Things don't have to be right. It's right. It's right for them in their situation, because in LA, the only thing you have to stand on is how we treat stars. Because their history of drafting in recent years is not the most stellar.
Not at
the
all.
rest of their team building, listen, if LeBron didn't want to go to LA, it would already be a wasteland. When he's gone, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how long Anthony Davis wants to stay. It's going to be interesting for a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just give him what he wants. That's what you're going to do anyway. So you could act like you're going to do all these other things. You're not.
Lakers, grow a spine. Do the right thing, as Russell Peters used to say.
My quick question is why? Why grow a spine in this situation? Him wanting to go there made you a relevant franchise again.
Yes.
They were irrelevant. For the first time in my lifetime, they were flat irrelevant.
No. Mid-90s. Mid-90s was bad.
Mid-90s
Eddie
was bad.
Jones and Nick Van Exel time was like...
Yeah, those
they had no hope.
I love those 2 years, believe me.
But that was an exciting team, but they weren't very good.
No.
You know what I mean? With what's his name? Who is their center? Something with an E. I'm blanking right now.
Oh, are you thinking of Eldon Campbell?
Yes, there it is. Yep. All right, finishing out with some Stanley Cup Finals. I know we only have a few more minutes. I'm gonna just go quickly. Game 1, the Oilers lost 3-0.
Got handled too.
The worst part, truthfully, was I don't think they really got handled.
They got handled by one man.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah,
that was it. He stood on his head. I looked up and. So this is in the second period. The shot total was like 18-4, and they were down 2-0. They had 4 shots on goal and 2 goals. Like, dang. And I saw a few saves that Sergei Bobrovsky made that were just like, bruh, it's gonna be that kind of night. So
we've all said it, a hot goalie.
Yes,
and it doesn't matter.
Yes, I think as a Caps fan and Bobrovsky used to be on the Blue Jackets for many years. You just have to get to him. You have to find the way to get to him. Once you find it, he'll relent. But as long as he keeps going, it's going to keep getting worse. So it's like they gotta just find their way to get to him. And I think they'll be all right.
He's playing with all the confidence in the world right now.
Yeah.
You have to hope, like game 1 on the road, you could say, with the exception of in goal, you outplayed them everywhere else.
Everywhere else. Truth. Yeah.
So, but once again, one hot goaltender doesn't matter.
Is all it takes. Former Vezina winner. But we'll see. We'll see. Either the Cats are going to throw rats or there's going to be a Canadian winner. But thank you guys so much again for watching another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your people. Share it with your people. Got some exciting things coming up soon. Sorry we weren't able to have the legend on today. We didn't say who that legend was, and I ain't going to drop that nugget because it's for me and Dave to discuss and talk
it wasn't
about.
a nugget either.
Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't a nugget. But he was a Rocket. Yeah, excited for what's coming. Got a few more things coming up, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.